Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back here on the show with another NBA news video. We're going to go over a lot more news I want to talk about in this second video. Episode 149, episode 149. Jeez, it's a lot of episodes already. Just so much NBA news every day to talk about. So, Sean Elliott, Spurs TV analyst, he talked about Victor Wembanyama on Sirius XM NBA radio. He basically said, quote, Victor Wembanyama, he has the potential to be the best player of all time, end quote. Look, I think Victor Wembanyama is going to be one of the best prospects ever. 7'4" guard, 7'4" center, guard, whatever, with handles, can shoot the three, lengthy defender. I gave him to shoot three off one leg. It's just, when Zion was drafted, we were told he was going to be a, quote, generational talent. The best since LeBron. The hype machine doesn't help players at the time. Wemby is in Zion's generation, so I suppose they moved on from Zion now to do the same to him. But I feel like Wemby's going to be a lot better. I think he'll actually be healthy and be a lot better player. But I don't think he'll be ever close to Michael Jordan. I just really don't. It's hard to get to that type of level like Michael Jordan. I feel like they're just setting Wembanyama up and they're just hyping this guy up like he's supposed to average 35, 10, and 10 to avoid Twitter bust level. Like, people gotta stop this. Like, he hasn't even played an NBA game yet. Like, we gotta see how he does in his rookie year when he gets drafted and see how he does on the Spurs in his rookie season. We can't just say, oh, he already has the potential to be the best player of all time when he just doesn't yet. Because he hasn't even played an NBA game. He hasn't even been drafted. So, Sixers, they want to get Joel Embiid more playoff-like reps. So, Daryl Morey says the Philadelphia 76ers want Joel Embiid to get more playoff-like reps. So, he's played 53 playoff games. If he hasn't gotten it now, he's not going to then. But I feel it doesn't matter. He's shown he's not a clear number one on a championship team. He just doesn't want it enough. Like, he's just too soft come playoff time. If you want to, then trade him then, maybe. You might have to think about that. And what this basically means here is retooling the roster for a few years and maybe train him in high leverage situation. It's just teams guard him different in the playoffs, and he has the whole regular season to even prepare for the playoffs. Like, try winning more playoff games then. Like, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope says the 2020 Lakers were better than the current team they have. I don't know. I don't think he actually. I don't know if he actually said this, but if he did, it's kind of crazy. Because that 2020 team was good, where you had AD and LeBron, your duo right there, and you had a bunch of key role players as well. A bunch of key role players on that team. So, but I feel like both teams are good, especially this year's Lakers after the trade deadline where they made all those trades to get their team better. So, but if they had that team from the start of the season, I think they would be a top 3 team in the West. So, there remains a strong level of interest in Jonathan Kuminga around the league per Zach Lowe NBA. So, Jonathan Kuminga was frustrated with his role during the playoffs, just not really playing much. Didn't really play much any key minutes in the Lakers series when a bunch of us Warriors fans wanted to see more Kuminga. We didn't get to see any Jonathan Kuminga, and he's very frustrated with that role. Basically not getting to play much unless it was garbage time. But I feel like he's going to stay with the Warriors. But if the Warriors were to deal Jonathan Kuminga, there remains a strong level of interest around the league. Hopefully the Warriors don't let Jonathan Kuminga go, because if they were to let him go, that would probably be the biggest mistake in Warriors history. Unless it was for a superstar type player. Unless you're trading a good, talented, young, athletic player like that, and Jonathan Kuminga is 20 years old. Unless it's for a superstar level player like Giannis Antetokounmpo, then no, I would not trade him. But hopefully he stays with us, because I don't want him to go. The Chicago Bulls were one of the teams that Brandon Miller met with. Oh boy, Chicago. Do they even have their pick? I think they do. Or no, they don't have a first or second round pick, so how the hell are they going to get Brandon Miller? Like, this means nothing. Breaking news, NBA team meets with future NBA player. Oh, the irony. Chicago shooter, a deep shooter in Chicago. Sorry, I had to make that. Sorry I had to make that joke. Couldn't pass up an opportunity. Per Chris B. Haynes, Chris Paul, he's expected to open up next season as Phoenix starting point guard. So it seems like the Phoenix Suns are going to bring back Chris Paul to open up next season. He needs to retire and just go play golf. Travel around the world, do commercials. His jersey's going to get retired. Just do something else. This isn't the right decision. But I feel like they have no other decision, though. So I feel like they kind of had no choice. But just retire, old man. Just please. But another year with no ring for Phoenix. So the Rockets, they could trade the number 4 pick, per Mike A. Scotto. Quote, with Houston preparing to make an aggressive push to sign James Harden this summer, rival NBA executives believe this pick will be used as trade bait, as the Rockets look to take a significant step forward next season. End quote. I can definitely see this happening. They went out there and got Ime Udoka as their next head coach for next season. They have the number 4 pick, but it seems like we're getting James Harden. Some rival executives believe that pick could be used as trade bait to get, and as the Rockets look to take a significant step forward. Which I could definitely see them trading this number 4 overall pick if they get James Harden. But I don't know. I wouldn't trade the pick. I would just keep it because you could still get James Harden and a really good young player with pick 4 in the draft. But maybe that's the best case scenario for him if that's what they think. JJ Redick, per Bet Online AG, he's the current favorite to become the next head coach of the Sixers? Yeah, it's not gonna happen. There's no way this is going to happen. I know, like, he's the betting favorite, I guess, but there's no way. Like, even Allen Iverson's on this list. Like, Jeff Van Gundy is on this list. Out of all the likely options, I would say Mike D'Antoni. Possibly. But James Harden's probably going to leave the Sixers, so maybe not. It's just going to be an interesting situation. See what they do. Report, executives believe Victor Wembanyama could be the NBA's best player on offense and defense by year 3. Like, okay, I like Victor Wembanyama, but this is getting out of hand now. This is just, he's awesome, but this is getting way, way out of control. Like, we need to see what he can do on the actual court. And players with his build don't last long based on history, but I feel like Victor Wembanyama is going to last long with his history, last long. Pause. He'll be a good rim protector, but we're just gonna see more action on the court and less talk. Report: Lakers fear D'Angelo Russell might take issue with coming off the bench in the NBA playoffs, per a report. But Schroeder in the starting lineup did shift the tide against Golden State in that Game 6. He's a legit he's a better 3-point threat than Vanderbilt. By the numbers, he's not a 3-point threat, but he's better than Vanderbilt. But literally, they just start Vanderbilt over Schroeder. And the lineup that was already working really good, and dude is so obsessed with Schroeder. But he's more of a threat than Jared Vanderbilt on offense, so it goes back and forth. But it's basically if he takes issue with it, then that's his problem. Per Zachlo NBA, league officials, they raised the possibility of the league again penalizing flops with an escalating series of fines. And the flop era is over, hopefully. Joel Embiid right now is going, he's biting his fingernails right now, Mr. Flopper. But why not do this before the playoffs? Like, do it before the playoffs. Just fine him like $500K per flop. Jeff Van Gundy's gonna like that with the flops, with these players flopping and now getting fined. Former NBA player says Nikola Jokic is close to surpassing Steph Curry as the best player in the league. Even as a big Steph Curry fan, I don't know if he's the best player in the league. But it's crazy. One year they say Giannis, one year they say Jokic, one year they say Embiid. It's just some people don't change their mind. Just people change their mind constantly. Oh, this player's the best player in the NBA. This player. It's why you can't take some people's opinions seriously. Oh, wow. Anthony Davis, I'm following at Stephen A. Smith on Twitter. He just needs to stay off Twitter. Who checks this stuff? Eric Spoelstra, he calls the 76ers firing Doc Rivers, quote, disturbing. When you hire Doc Rivers, you're basically saying you want the ceiling to be a second round exit, and that's what they did. He doesn't run a single play for his team. Just pick and roll for Harden and Embiid and pray for the best. This isn't disturbing. He's just not a good head coach. Yahoo Sports, the general manager of the Portland Trailblazers anticipates receiving numerous calls for the third overall pick. Quote, we're a team that's trying to win and trying to maximize Damian's timeline via Yahoo Sports. So we'll see. The Blazers are a joke. What are they trying to win with? Damian Lillard and a bunch of average players? They gotta think about trading a third pick and trying to get a superstar player. Or at least a good player that can continue, or that can help Dame in Portland. Kendrick Perkins, he said, why should Klay Thompson take a pay cut? Let's be honest here. Why should Klay take one? He doesn't have to. There's teams around the league that would actually give him a bag that he deserves, and rightfully so. And quote says Kendrick Perkins. I mean, whatever Klay wants to do is what he wants to do. I mean, we'll just have to see what he does with that contract. So Rival Scout talked about Spurs getting the number one pick. Said fuck that. They've already basically had Tim Duncan and Dave, and yeah, they're basically crying about it, which is crazy. Doc Rivers would still like to coach, and I would like you to work at McDonald's, Mr. Doc Rivers. You shouldn't be a coach in the NBA anymore. Adam Silver on John Morant said, quote, honestly, I was shocked when I saw this weekend. Yeah, I wasn't shocked. It's John Morant. Trying to act like a thug. But yeah, the Warriors and Bob Myers might part ways this offseason. They haven't really talked anything about the contract. So that's going to be crazy. If the Bob Myers doesn't come back to the Warriors, what are they going to do? Will they hire, what new GM will they hire? If they let go of Bob Myers, and how will they tool the roster if they get a new GM? But yeah, we'll just see what happens in the offseason. But that's all to say for this video. So until next time, peace.